Hello, good evening. 6 13-year-olds from Ayrshire have been treated in hospital in Kilmarnock after a suspected drug incident. Police have now issued a fresh warning about the dangers of taking illegal substances. Our reporter Amanda Masulo has more details.
The alarm was raised at around 6:30 last night when the 3 boys and 3 girls began to feel unwell. They were brought here to Crosshouse Hospital and were kept in overnight for observation. Police say the teenagers knew each other and may have taken a type of MDMA tablet or ecstasy, believed to be brown, red or green in colour, bearing an owl logo. Officers say this incident again highlights the dangers of taking drugs, warning that anybody who does so is risking their own lives. They add that anyone who becomes unwell or knows somebody who is ill after taking such substances should seek medical attention straight away.
Police in Glasgow have launched a murder hunt after the death of a man in Ibrox. 40-year-old James Watt was found dead in a flat on Copland Quadrant on Friday night. Police said he'd been the victim of a violent and, they believe, targeted attack. The pilot of a light aircraft has been taken to hospital with minor injuries after crash landing near Shempston's airfield in Lossiemouth this afternoon. The aircraft overturned in a field. One of the UK government's most senior ministers is set to warn that the British economy could end up disjointed if a successful deal isn't reached with the Scottish Government over the return of EU powers to Holyrood after Brexit. In a major speech he's due to deliver tomorrow, David Lidington, who's effectively the Prime Minister's deputy, will stress the need for common rules and regulations across all parts of the UK in order to protect the internal market. The SNP says UK ministers need to show some leadership.
I've seen some reports in the papers saying that they think the SNP is going to potentially damage some trade deals going forward. I mean, first of all, that's completely wrong. And second of all, that's just the signs of a weak government that are trying to blow up a smokescreen because they're unable to come to the table with some serious proposals in order to satisfy the Scottish Government.
We'd like to see those powers come back to Holyrood to strengthen the Scottish Parliament. But beyond that, there will then be cross-border issues, which we haven't got that agreement on yet. But I think with compromise, there's the opportunity to do that. I think both governments looking towards where these powers are going to have a common sense approach is something we should all be working towards.
The Scottish Government's calling for both sides in the row over lecturers' pensions to get round the negotiating table. Members of the University and College Union began a walkout on Thursday over proposals which they claim will leave a typical lecturer £10,000 a year worse off. Employers say the pension scheme has a deficit of more than £6 billion. The Labour Party has backed the strike. The Scottish Government says it's held talks with the union. To football and in the Premiership, Celtic beat third-placed Aberdeen 2-0 at Pittodrie. Moussa Dembele scored the first goal, with Kieran Tierney adding a second near the end. Celtic are now 9 points clear of Rangers at the top of the table. And some of the planet's best athletes have been in the East End of Glasgow this afternoon, finalising their preparations for next week's World Championships. Several Scottish stars have performed well at the Muller Grand Prix, from where Cerdine at San reports.
It's one of the best indoor meets anywhere in the world, and we've seen some performances to match. A world record from Britain's Tom Bosworth in the 3,000 metres walk. Plenty of interest, as you would expect, in Scotland's most decorated track and field athlete, Ailey Doyle. A good run from her, but not quite good enough to edge out the American Phyllis Francis.
I'd love to have won it, but you know, coming second to the world champion is not a bad place to finish up. But yeah, I'm happy with how I executed the race and how it went. I think it's going to put me in really good stead for the next weekend in the World Championships.
Amongst other fine performances, Scotland's Jake Whiteman ran a personal best for third place in the 800 metres before the afternoon was rounded off by the Commonwealth silver medalist Lindsay Sharp in the women's 800 metres.
And Sharp grits her teeth and digs in, but it's going to be a victory for Valverde. Lindsay Sharp second place.
For many of these athletes, it's straight to Birmingham. The World Indoor Athletics begin in 4 days' time, with Scotland's Laura Muir going for gold in the 3,000 metres on Thursday evening. Cerdine Edsan reporting Scotland at the Emirates Arena in Glasgow.
Weather now with Judith.
Thank you very much. Well, it really was a beautiful day across much of Scotland. You'll be wondering what all the fuss is about, but there are major changes afoot during the coming week. Now, come midweek, we are looking at some significant snowfall coming our way, disruptive as well, and as far as brutally cold weather coming in too, along with bitter and strong easterly winds, frost and ice issues too. It'll be a dry night and long clear spells with a fairly widespread frost as well. A bit more in the way of cloud coming into the east coast, maybe producing the odd wintry flurry, but generally it's dry. Overnight lows typically of around -1 to -3 Celsius, just holding above freezing across the northern Isles. So a lovely start to the day tomorrow with that frost. Good sunny spells though. Again, we're looking at cloud coming and going across eastern coastal areas with maybe the odd wintry flurry. Highs tomorrow for around about 3 to 5 Celsius. So let's take a look at this little chart here. You can see Siberian airs starting to creep all the way across northern Europe, making its way towards our shores. That's going to be the case during the coming week, turning bitterly cold.
And that's all for now. We're back just after the 10 o'clock news. I hope you can join us then. Until then, though, from all of us here, have a great evening. Bye-bye for now.